Welcome to Retirement Railroad 2.0. I'm Steve, and today on episode 4 of Workbench Wednesday, we're going to look at and work on a Mahano 280 consolidation that was given to me by Lynn McCurdy. Now we're going to be installing a sound decoder with speaker and a keep alive in the tender, with a wiring harness connecting the tender to the locomotive itself. Now, the locomotive has a 2-axle pickup, and the tender itself has pickups on both wheels of both trucks, but only one side. So it's the equivalent of having another 2 axles of, or 4 axles of pickup. So, no, 2 axles of pickup. I had it right the first time. All right. So with that, stay tuned, and we'll get right after it. Well, as is kind of normal, as I'm editing this video, I found out the first segment isn't there. And what it entailed was a review of this 280 consolidation and how to get it opened up. And it was real easy. One screw on the tender, lift the rear up, pull the tabs out of the front, and it's opened up. Likewise on the locomotive itself, one screw from the bottom underneath the chimney, undo it, lift the front, undo the tab in the back, and there you have it. Now the next thing I did was I isolated all of the wiring. All right. Remember, the wiring that existed was DC, and we need to isolate the pickups from the motor, from the lighting, etc. So I did all that, and as the opening scene shows, you can see the isolated wires. All right. Near the end, I totally missed the wiring of the decoder. All right. Which, it's just following the wiring diagram from the decoder manual itself. Not that big a deal. And wire management, tucking wires in, etc. Wire management was the challenge. So please excuse me for that. And with that, let's go ahead and watch the video. Okay, so for the next step, I want to work on lighting. I'm going to try something new. Recently, I got in some 5mm pre-wired flickering red bulbs. I'm going to combine one of those with a 2mm yellow, and I'm going to mount them underneath right here, because the red is a flicker, and the idea is, hopefully, that it will give a firebox flicker. All right. Now I've got some shrink tubing so that I can shrink tube these two bulbs together. All right. And I'll have them wired together as well. So heat up the soldering iron. The first thing will be to shrink them together. Next thing will be to wire them together. And I don't think we're going to need a whole lot of wire. Set that aside. We're going to wire the two reds together and the two blacks together. Get our strippers. You may hear some background noise. That is because the door is open. It's such a beautiful morning here in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, and the waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain.
Hopefully the flicker will be visible. Alright, so we've got those lights done. Now I've got a warm white 3mm that needs to feed through the boiler. On either side of the weight. And there it is. Here and here, and the bulb goes inside here. And let's put a little bit of blue tack in there as soon as, there it is. Just to make sure. It stays in place. All right, and now we can put the boiler cover back on. There it is back in place. All right, let's get a pair of alligator leads and hook her up. So for the rear light is another warm white, and there's the mounting for the grain of wheat, but the grain of wheat doesn't have as large of wires and shrink wrap and resistor, etc. So I've got to modify the mount. Now the 3mm bulb will fit exactly into where the grain of wheat fit, but it's the other mount over here that I need to widen out just a tad. Like that. So, wires, I can snip back to around there. We're going to remove these wires. So, the next step will be to make up the wiring harness. Now, I'll have 3 wires for lights. I already have the motor control. So it's 3 plus 2 for the power pickups is 5. So I need a 5-pin harness. All right, we'll make that up. Stay tuned. All right, so I've got the harness made up. Great little kit I picked up off of Amazon. And I use the same color coding as NMRA 9-pin wiring harness. So you will notice that I have brown in here. Well, brown is coming from the F3 pin on the sound harness, and F3 is the uncoupling. So I'm going to use that for the firebox. So when you hit F3, you hear a coupling sound one time, and then the firebox's flicker light that I made up here, all right, will turn on, and likewise hit F3 again, it turns off, and you hear the coupling noise again. So that's just the way Digitrax told me years ago how to put a extra lighting function in for a Mars light on my E-units. So, and I've just stuck by that. All right, and so anyway, I got the 5-pin made up. Now I've got to make a place to mount it, and what I am going to do is use my drill here and drill out an area, a couple holes, 2-3 holes right along in here in this area to mount that harness. All right, hang tight. I am going to put a touch of CA super glue right along there to hold it in place. Like that. All right, so that's glued in place. Now I think what I'm going to do, well, I got to check and make sure first. I'm going to use a Digitrax. You probably can't read it. SDXH167D sound decoder. It's a 16-bit sound decoder, 1 amp, and comes with a speaker. So we're gonna pop this open, and these are my go-to decoders. As I've mentioned before, they're not super premium like a Tsunami 3 or a Lokesound 5 or a TCS Wild Sound. But then again, I'm not prototypical, I'm proto-representative. And this is a steam engine. Does it have steam sounds? It will have, yeah. So it's representative. Now, if I don't like that sound profile, I can use SoundLoader 2 and go to the Digitrax library and pick another Steam, for this one, sound profile and download into it. We'll probably do another Workbench Wednesday on that at some point as well. So anyway, so I've got this decoder. I mentioned early on that we're also going to do a Keep Alive. So I have a PX112-10. It's a 10-pin harness. And this is perfect for this decoder. Why, you say? Because I love the little bubble wrap. As I pull this out, you'll see that it has the same harness as this one. Nope, that one. So we're going to take off the sound harness that came on this decoder, set it aside, and we simply plug this one into it. Now we can take off all these extra wires with the exception of the brown. We're going to use that brown. So before I plug it in, let's remove those other wires, because we do not need the white or the black. Simply lift the keeper up. Oh, there's two blacks in this harness. Only one of them we're taking out. The one that doesn't go into anything. There we go. And we're going to take the white off. Alright. The next black we use. Next red we use. The blue one is next. That is not used. I went for a long time not knowing you could do this. Until C and EI John pointed it out to me. I can use. Now with this tender buttoned up, we'll have a hard time hearing any sound. So very carefully, now I could remove these trucks, but removing the trucks creates another issue that I don't want to deal with. So we're just going to put a few holes in the bottom here. Alright, that should be enough holes. I need to mount, put some styrene, perhaps a couple pieces, and we'll get the chopper out here. Alright, I got everything all wired up and put back together. I took off the old horn hook coupler and put a KD148 on the front. Alright. Let's take a look. They're all hooked up, ready to go. I'll tell you what, wire management on this was an issue. Not that there's plenty of room and everything in the tender, but all the electrical leads leading to the two wiring harnesses, one 5-pin plus the original 2-pin that I kept there for motor control. So with that, looks good. Let's go take her to the layout and see what she's got. There you have it, another successful installation. I failed to mention, I really like how the flicker for the firebox turned out. You may or may not be able to see it in these videos, but it looks really cool as it's going by. So let's take a look at her. Might get a glimpse of the firebox flicker. Right there. See it? With that, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad 2.0 Workbench Wednesday, episode number 4. And y'all have a great day. Hey, thanks again, Lynn McCurdy, for this excellent 280 consolidation. Bye now.